And welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. And Lee Fang is with us, a contributor to RepublicReport.org, The Nation magazine, author of the book The Machine, A Field Guide to the Resurgent Right, is the website where his current reporting is, the RepublicReport.org. Lee, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tom, thank you so much for having me.
It is always an honor and a pleasure to have you, my friend. You're breaking news about the people in the Obama administration. I mean, the argument had been made that this Trans-Pacific Partnership, I have a different name for it, and I'm trying to get maybe you can help me make this thing go viral. This is actually, if the North American Free Trade Agreement is NAFTA and the Central American Free Trade Agreement is CAFTA, this is the Southern Hemisphere Asian Free Trade Agreement, also known as SHAFTA.
I think that's a very good euphemism for this deal because it doesn't just this isn't just about trade. This is a Trojan horse for corporate deregulation, and it's not only going to hurt American workers, but it's going to take apart financial and corporate regulations in every country involved in this deal.
Right. So when we're and we've been talking about SHAFTA or TPP. For some time, and the hit on it has been that it's being negotiated in secret and just corporations are doing it. But it turns out that actually there's a few people from the Obama administration who have been participating in these negotiations, and you've dug up some interesting little bits of information on who these folks are and the circumstances that are associated with their leaving private industry to negotiate on behalf of the Obama administration. First of all, do I have that right?
That's right. Two of the major officials tapped by the Obama administration to lead these negotiations, Michael Froman, the ambassador, the U.S. trade representative, and Stefan Selig, who hasn't been confirmed yet, but he's been tapped as the Undersecretary for International Trade at the Department of Commerce. Both of these individuals are former bankers, Froman from Citigroup and Selig from Bank of America. And what's interesting here is that both banks awarded these officials huge multi-million-dollar bonuses as they were being tapped to work for the Obama administration. And this is important because it raises a significant conflict of interest because this trade deal has huge ramifications for the big banks. Not only does this free up capital, but it also, as I mentioned, the trade deal contains provisions that allow the banks to take entire governments to court to block regulations that they view as impacting their future profits.
Yeah. So basically, Obama has tapped a couple of corporate fat cats to negotiate the corporate fat cat deal, the new SHAFTA deal, or TPP. And these guys, when they left their corporations, they got big bonuses or big chunks of cash, and presumably after the negotiations are over, whether they're successful or not, but certainly if they're successful, they will have a nice future ahead.
That's right. These bonuses are typically awarded right when an official leaves a bank or a major corporation when they go into a regulatory or high-level government job. Some ethics experts call them remember me bonuses. And then once they do certain deeds in government that benefit their former employers, they swing back through the revolving door and receive another special bonus. In fact, Citigroup has a line in their executive contract that specifically says if you leave the bank to join the government in a high-level position, you're entitled to a special bonus. So again, this poses a significant conflict of interest because Citigroup, in particular, is leading a coalition of corporations that are seeking big advantages in this trade deal.
Mm-hmm. Now, back during the George Herbert Walker Bush administration, there was rather famously, I wrote about it in my book on equal protection. It was not a secret. It was in newspapers and things like that. There was a fellow at, as I recall, Monsanto, who left his job at Monsanto, became the regulator, approved the regulations, and then left the regulating position and went back to his job at Monsanto, living under the regulations that he himself had written. There was a fair amount of furor about that. Why has that revolving door not been closed? I mean, that was 30 years ago.
Well, I think one reason for that is that it's been normalized. It's not just the big banks. Northrop Grumman and other large companies have these special employment contracts that award these bonuses for their executives to burrow into government, to take these powerful jobs that then oversee their former employers, and then they go back into government. I think this speaks to a larger problem of, one, the media, that most traditional media outlets, they don't focus on these issues. They're more interested in process stories or more tabloid-esque stories. And the other aspect of this problem is that the Department of Justice, the FBI, they haven't taken high-level corruption seriously. You'll see the Department of Justice go after mayors or state assemblymen for corruption, but they simply don't have the political will to investigate these crimes at the upper echelons of government.
Could that be because these same politicians are having their nests feathered, padded by, their campaign contributions, given to them, or their trips to Scotland or whatever paid for by these large corporations?
Well, sure. I mean, there's a gift economy in D.C. that I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah.
By living there, you see it all over the place. But there's a revolving door even at the Department of Justice. Look at Lanny Brewer, the chief of enforcement for the first 4 years of the Obama administration. He goes in, doesn't prosecute the big banks, doesn't prosecute upper-level political corruption, and then he goes back for a multi-million-dollar job at Covington and Burling, this big lobbying and law firm in D.C.
Whoa. And they don't have to wait like members of Congress for 2 years before they can start lobbying, do they? Or do they?
That's kind of the other big issue here. And I have a story coming out in The Nation tomorrow that actually looks into this. Lobbying law is simply not being enforced. The letter of the law that you can't, that there's this cooling off period, that exists, but there's simply no enforcement. And how you actually define lobbying, are you making a contact, are you spending 20% of your time? There are so many loopholes written into it. Even if officials were to enforce the law, it's very difficult.
So this is not unlike Karl Rove asserting that his 501c3 or C4, his so-called educational nonprofit, is educational because 51% of their money goes to educating the public and 49% goes to just overtly, nakedly political activity.
I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. But yes, it's a similar dynamic where the IRS and some of these other oversight bodies create very vague standards, but then they don't even enforce their own rules.
So for those of us who would like to do something about this, I mean, outside of the obvious, amending the Constitution so that we can no longer say that money is protected by the First Amendment or corporations by the 14th Amendment, what else can be done?
That's an interesting question. I think a lot of campaign finance, good government experts have this debate. I'm a little bit, the kind of consensus right now is that we need better laws, that we need a new wave of reform, and I'm all for that. But I think what folks should be pushing for today, if you look back in American history, we've seen reform after investigations. We need a cop on the beat. We need the DOJ to investigate. We need Congress to convene a select committee that investigates political corruption. We need political will, and then we'll have reform.
So it's time for the Church Commission all over again.
Yes.
Or the Church Committee, or whatever Frank Church did when he was the senator and he was investigating all that Nixon corruption. I'm with you. Lee Fang is the contributor to republicreport.org, The Nation magazine, thenation.com, and author of The Machine, A Field Guide to the Resurgent Right, a brilliant book which you must go out and buy. Lee, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Tom. Take care.